where the ball would be cleared with two in opposite side where the defender or the two forwards were not there, and Merchant would just fly in, scoop up that rebound, or just like hop in, eject button with a VYCE ultimate or something of that sort with Luna or VYCE. And the amount of pressure you have on those offensive plays of like 3v2 onto the goalie just made it so hard to defend. And if we see Merchant continue to do that, it's like that's like the Merchant classic, but people know that, Vaughn, and people try to stop him from doing that. And we see the bans always go through either ban the VYCE or ban the Luna, and he hasn't been able to pick those characters as much. So it's really going to come down to how much has he adapted on this playstyle. And speaking of which, I mean, held it down so far really well on the Finny.
Yeah, we definitely have seen this come through here with the VYCE ban and the Luna pick, which is a wonderful start for her on Twin Drive. However, an interesting thing I'm going to point out as this first set goes through is I want your eyes on Rex. He's locked in Drakkar. It's his first time playing Drakkar in NASL ever, and he's also opted for the missile prop, which is an excellent training and important because it takes away that pocket pick we've seen from average Alex the week before. So this is one of those games where Drakkar is actually going to have a lot of impact because neither Juliet or Rune is going to be able to pressure him at range. This is going to be a close-up slugfest. We're seeing it a lot so far, where it's just 4 melee forwards are just going to beat each other down point after point, with Dropleto's signature X in tow as well. So we're going to see this actually come through as I hunts down and kills Fiery from the midfield. That's the power of the Xenocloak boost on the shotgun damage. Merchant's flying up with no eject button needed. Mystic, he's fine just with the mom boots, and this is a power play that might turn in the favor of PPL if Fiery comes back and holds, which he can't. Emloom's in the 1v1 with drop. Now they're doing a nice vertical offense here, making sure they're spreading the floor, giving pressure. Strike where win from Alex to make sure the goal doesn't get saved. Merchant with a flip, and Alex and Fiery on the other half. Emloom kills Dropleto on the other side of the field, and they've swung the play in favor of PPL Mystic. Let's see where they can take this.
Yeah, but so far so good in terms of defending the barrier down. It takes a dash punch out of Fiery to close it off, but I has the energy burst, uses it in the net, gets it through the Juliet ultimate, and manages to time it between Emloom as well, giving them the 2-0 lead already. And one thing I wanted to talk about is Merchant once more, but on the Finny with the mom boots, and specifically with this Twin Drive. I know how highly you value Twin Drive on the Finny. It adds so much damage. It has a massive range on how far the ability can be cast. So you have that core control, you have the damage debuff, and especially when you have these two brawler characters being piloted by I and Dropleto, that damage is coming through. So we're gonna see, like, once that set 2, set 3 X comes online and we get things like bulk up or 1-2 punch or heavy impact on some of these characters, the damage is gonna be insane.
The damage is gonna be insane, and so was Merchant's Sages there. PPL's had to use 2 core flips, all for naught. Merchant with another good read on Fiery Strike, making sure he holds it down. No barrier, no problem. Getting evades out versus this PPL squad is so important for the X and Drakkar do what they do best. Fiery denied once again by Merchant. Brett backing him up in the corner, making sure that that ball gets cleared. While Emloom, a little bit of an offensive sequence going on from PPL, but can't break the defense of Bozo Bunch just quite yet. The speed seems to be on the side of Bozo, while PPL spinning their wheels a bit, trying to figure out how to get the ball, but they're by no means at a disadvantage. Fiery once again eyeing the goal, just doesn't have the resources really to break through the Twin Drive Finny, and not to mention the core flip as well. The Rune Luna combo, haven't seen too much of the character's damage synergy quite yet, but a good flip coming out from Emloom matches Dropleto's Fiery, looks for the goal, can't exactly find another flip coming out, but a nice strike from Fiery. Good shot placement makes it so that the abilityless Finny can't save it one more time. So PPL strikes back here, Mystic.
Yeah, really clutch play by Emloom. Over there, Dropleto had the energy burst in the net against the Luna, which for the most part is a guarantee. Oh my goodness, Dropleto with the quick KO on the side, getting average Alex on the Rune out, a character that does actually have quite a bit of defensive capabilities because of the ability to buffer your secondary and kind of just ignore knockback. But even with that, I was going to say, Emloom did such a good job on that previous point, using the flip to catch Dropleto's flip, which led them to that first point in this set. But with that KO that Dropletto got, we already have 2 barriers down on the side of PPL, and now they're going to have to defend against a Gret who has Energy Burst, trying to walk into position. You can see the way they're walking up with Merchant also moving a little bit forward to give I as much time as needed to try to set up a play on the Jakar. It doesn't just have to be Dropletto, but as long as Fiery and Average Alex keep pulling this like 2v2 midfield defense that's going on pretty well, they seem to be having a little bit of trouble getting the ball in position for I to actually use that energy burst.
Something I've also seen as well is one of the strongest points of this Rune Luna combo, Mystic, is the fact that you can combo off of your ults. We saw this get a lot of popularity in the early season, but we haven't really seen it come to fruition as much as people expected. Even though Alex gets a kill with his ult, without the Luna adding to it, it does take a little bit from that combination, so difficult for them to sync those up. We'll see if this pays off here, though. Open barriers for both sides. I always favor the eject goalie more, so I'm going to look for Emloom to fly in here soon. Fiery staggered. Dangerous position for him especially. Has to play around both direct and X so well, but an excellent capitalization and read on the bounce from that top side barrier corner. And Fiery's going to put that in quite nicely. I feel like PPL is slowly clawing it back. The momentum feels like it's in Bozo's favor, but Mystic, it just feels like they can't get that ball in that net.
Yeah, and it was like I was mentioning before, the midfield duo of Fiery and Average Alex, like both of these forward players have been holding it down for quite some time, and it feels like, yes, the ball is moving forward from Merchant and I over to Dropletto, but it's not getting into a spot where they can capitalize on. But oh my goodness, a lot of damage coming through. Merchant, without any elusive left, is healing a little bit, but looks like they're not going to capitalize it any further. Oh my goodness, get blasted by Dropletto, uses the energy burst, flips him off the map, sent back into his own net. They have a little bit of reprieve, another 5 seconds until Fiery comes back. Let's see if they can make use of this, break that last barrier, but no, unable to fully go through on that play. We don't have almost no energy economy there available for Bozo Bunch. Emloom using that eject button, it feels like, even though they're getting the kills on Bozo, or I should say Bozo onto PPL, it just does not matter because PPL is holding on for dear life. Fiery with no stagger available, nothing to his name, just a Juliet ultimate and a dream, manages to get it through everyone there. And what a reverse like 3-0 on that set.
Something that I didn't expect for one Mystic. It was so unfortunate. Merchant was playing that set so well, and just a small mistake on the Finny ult, it can spell so much doom out of nowhere. An own barrier cost them that set, which is always painful. I want to draw attention to something actually quite important in this draft, which is the X pick. If he wants, he can go for the specialized, which he chooses to do. I think this warps the game completely. Now, obviously, Luna has Deadeye and there's team player and all these wonderful trainings, but X specialized training really does just jettison the character to top tier KO. The amount of damage he does over time, the knockback he can do from his own kind of strange dash punch with his ult. If he really wants to, Dropletto can transition to more of an Oki-esque playstyle, if he's allowed to do it, of course, where he can completely deny Emloom the versatility of Luna's kit. We'll see if it comes through right now. He's decided to focus on Fiery for starters. Brawlers get it done. Now Merchant and Brett making sure they work the ball up in the back line. That's one thing Drakkar can do well on this map. He can push the ball forward with the strike shotgun. Nice combo from Dropletto's basic abilities to confirm that kill. Now they have an offense versus the Luna. This is going to be tough for her to hold, but Emloom has the perfect strike to get it through the barrier, but it's already right back. The onslaught won't end, but Emloom once again with Average Alex and Toe is able to hold it down. Luna out of abilities can't hold that barrier though, and now Merchant's in a 1v1 with Merchant and Fiery. Luna all alone. Oh my goodness, what a wombo combo! That was cool to watch, I won't be honest. Fiery and Emloom combined for a really satisfying kill, and Emloom's flying in as well. What looked like a PPL disaster class has swung once again in their favor, and just a simple strike will get it done. Fiery sees the hole in Bozo's defense and plugs it with the core, Mystic.
Yeah, I mean, that KO getting Dropletto out, and talking about that specialized training, we saw how much damage it already did from just wailing on Fiery for a couple seconds. And one thing that I wanted to add on to your point, like you mentioned his little dash punch there, it catches so many people off guard the first time, because you're like, oh, I'm at a safe distance from X right now, and then you get hit once and it's like, well, that's my one. But look at the damage coming through onto I. Oh my goodness, the flip sends him out. Average Alex was trying to get some sort of KO or some sort of damage onto I there, but it does not matter. And what do you think about the difference in Average Alex taking the slick kicks on the rune in this situation versus I, who has opted in for the more traditional, what is this awakening called? Magnetized Souls.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice for sure. I guess Average Alex feels like since he's playing versus double melee, he'll be ping-ponging the ball a lot more. I'm curious to see how it pans out. Obviously, they're up in sets, so something's going right. Oh, I like that self-pass from him as well. Oh, these things happen.
That just like,
you know what?
We've all been time punch. Oh my.
Yeah, that was way too fast. I don't even blame Emloom for that. You know what? These things happen. I do think something that I want to draw attention to as well is Emloom is playing really quite fantastically. I think this is going to be a difficult Luna game for him on paper. The X breathing down the Luna's throat is always quite scary, but he's been doing just fine. We'll see if they can continue this offensive pressure. Fiery taking a lot of damage, but obviously we've seen he can still be an offensive threat even when staggered. Average Alex and Dropletto playing a little ping pong, but Dropletto can't seem to get his hands on the ball as well, and Alex knows it. Last little cheeky debut moment. Emlyn with another wonderful strike. That's going to convert to a barrier, and all of a sudden, Bozo Bunch is on the back foot here, despite the stagger advantage they have. Alex moving the ball around, trying to set up Fire, but they can't seem to find it. Emlyn uses the dash to make sure he saves both of his barriers. As there's a bit of back and forth here, ability's getting slung out. Fiery once again kept low. They're doing a good job making sure his stagger isn't regenning. He just can't seem to catch a break. Banish coming down. That might be a death. The Luna combo, but it actually ends in Emlyn losing his barrier, and then Juliet dies on the side. We'll see if they're able to convert this 3v2. The power plays haven't really worked out in Bozo's favor. Emlyn, what a great save! What a great save. Heads up play by him, but unfortunately Dropletto does the Luna counterplay, which is stand right in front of her and strikes it home for the goal, Mystic.
Oh no, but what a play that was. The Emloom Average Alex getting the Luna combo down, or the Runa combo, but all it took was the recovery drone off of I, and what it cost them was 2 barriers, a teammate, and eventually the goal there. So was it worth it? Well, we'll have to find out if it can lead into more points this time around. And starting off strong, using the energy burst, Emloom coming in, flying down from the bottom half, the boost, making it in time. Just like a 12-second point there. I didn't even get to finish what I was talking about. And I guess it's worth it. They knew the future. They said they're moving on to point 5. I has no recovery drone, and now if they can get that combo off once more, it'll lead to that 14-second death, I believe. I actually don't know the timer on that, but either way, they started off super strong. Oh my goodness, the damage from Emloom. And then, there it is. That's the recovery drone from 2 points ago paying off.
That's fact. I was just about to make a point of how many core flips the side of Bozo had, and I feel like PPL just listened and made sure they took one of them out. We'll see if Merchant can hold that. Oh, a double flip going out. Gives Essence of Hug. I would never have done that, of course. Now Gret and Dropletto have to move the ball up, and at a point that looked like it was Bozo's favor at the start, it's going to be a little trickier to navigate. Emlyn's done such a good job of applying that consistent pressure to Gret with his abilities. All Average Alex and Fire have to do is try to finish him off, but Gret also doing a good job of living, known for being a player that can space quite well. Fiery. Hulk going wide now. Dropletto with a great punish, making sure the pillars inform as well. Very heads-up play by the Bozo Bunch's brawler. Having a great season, might I add, so glad to continue his excellence. 1v2 going out on Emloom. Smartly doesn't use the flip. I don't think he can get it, but the pillar back from Average Alex makes sure that's an open game state. Open barriers on both sides. One team with team player, the other with boatloads of damage. We'll see which one comes through first. Dropletto pops the L for initial bit of core speed. My gosh, that goes in! Speaking of core speed, what on earth was that? Bozo brings it back, clutches of defeat, and makes sure that they're able to be locked in with Gret in his return series, locked in the MVP, Mystic.
I hate to see it. Emloom was in that situation where he thought he was going to be able to reach the core, so he didn't flip, and then it just barely slipped by him. I mean, the core was moving so fast in that exact moment. But now we're going into a tied set of sets, but with Bozo Bunch leading in momentum. Adrenaline Rush picked up a 4-eye there, completely denying it from the enemy team. We don't want to see them with shorter cooldowns and with insane enhanced movement speed. So I think a really good pickup on that end. We're not going to see any Spark of Leaderships. 1 Spark picked up in general. But besides that, anything stand out to you in this draft?
This ad rush on the Drek makes me really nervous if I'm the side of PPL. The thing about Adrenaline Rush that a lot of people just don't really seem to remember is you don't have to get the kill. You just need to help out. And if there's one thing that Drakkar does, other than dying with recovery drone right there, is getting chip damage consistently. So if he ever can tag someone that Dropletto is trying to kill, a Drakkar with 2 shotguns is scary. A Drakkar with 4 after an adrenaline rush proc, almost unbeatable. So we'll see how these early ping-pongs go back and forth between Dropletto and I. Rhett already level 10, by the way, so he's doing a good job of getting involved on the plays. While Finny does a good job of making sure Fiery is elusive. We're trying to peel for him. Fiery's able to run away from Dropletto with the assistance of his backline. Now, as always, we see a staggered Fiery doing a great job of taking up space, making sure that he's always an offensive pressure, even if he's not necessarily the healthiest striker on the field. Now a bit of corner offense from the Bozo Bunch. Rhett, there's one adrenaline crush proc. Now he's going to have shotguns. Can we get 2? We get a barrier instead. This is exactly what I'm nervous about if I'm the side of PPL. Bozo now has the team player activated in overtime as well. Average Alex has a flip that he can use, but he's low, so has to expend it quite quickly. Monumental Spinny always blocking it down as well. Flip coming out from Merchant, goes a little bit errant. As Emblem flies in now and gets a kill with the dash rocket combo. That's huge for the side of PPL right now. Let's see if this power play can get up. Forces the flip out from I. Mounts to nothing. Core speed going every which way. That's the Deadeye Luna with the team player on the Finny. Fiery eyeing it up. It's anyone's guess how this point could end. Average Alex just quite misses the pillar, but a good pass. Hit stun from Fiery, but Emblem comes in, doesn't want to use the flip smartly. Probably would have been stuffed by the Finny Monumentalist. Now it's I back on the pitch with Drakkar. Let's see if he can put something together. Threads the goal, but doesn't quite seem to find it. He's getting chipped nice and low. That's Julie fodder if I've ever seen it. That's the flip. That's the goal. And it's in. Mystic. It's a PPL sweep that point.
What a beautiful play by Fiery there. One thing I will say, just looking at how the ball was being moved from Bozo Bunch, it looked like they were having quite a bit of trouble with the bounces off the middle. It never looked like the ball was going exactly where it wanted to. It was just slightly off. It was bouncing. Like they had the power play with I on that adrenaline rush, but the amount of time wasted with waiting for the ball to get all those bounces out of the way first and then being able to continue the point, it seemed like it ended up stalling such a long time, and I felt like I noticed that quite a bit. But in the meantime, while I was yapping Dropletto doing X-Lore over there, that's a set 3X, baby, with Spec Training Superman build on the twin drive as well. Keep that in mind. And 2 people taken out. The pancakes reset on Fire, actually very important there. And now immediate turnaround before the momentum going in the favor of Bozo Bunch. Let's see if they can keep it up. We're not going to have... Oh my goodness, there goes the Superman while banished. Not going to have that ultimate for quite some time until... I mean, it's a pretty long ultimate, but when that X ultimate comes right back, you can see the positioning that Dropletto is taking up. You know that he's going to want to smack someone silly with that X Maximus. And if they can do that again, then most likely will lead to another point.
I agree. It's going to be on PPL to try to mitigate some of that damage or trade it back when they get the opportunities to. They do a lot of damage, but so does Dropletto. Results in Gret once again getting the ad rush on this Drakkar, and any time a missile prop Drek has his shotguns up with some speed, you need to be careful. This looks almost unclearable, but Emloom and Average Alex are able to get it out. A nice banish. Make sure Dropletto is stalled. The finial saved once again by Emloom, and a pillar as well denies the next pass. PPL all of a sudden, anytime I feel like they're almost done, find a way to bring it back. Off of the efforts, I'll add of Emlu. I think this Luna has had some pinpoint accuracy with both her strikes as well as her rockets. So I'm curious to see if she's able to get it done. Merchant with a great strike to make sure he's denying Fiery. Now the ball swings on the other side. Superman X doing the thing. Emlu flips it out. X flips it back, and he punches it in. Dropletto. Hey, there's no shame in putting the fries in the bag, especially when you're one of the best X players to ever touch the game. So nice offense there by Bozo. They're really keeping the foot on the gas pedal for set 3.
Yeah, and I want to give props to that energy burst that Dropletto used. That core flip caught the core from so far away. It was pretty much max distance. He had to take a little bit of a hike to get down to strike that, but the awareness to know how far the ranges of your energy burst and use it effectively came in a super clutch there, giving them the advantage now. in this set, which Fiery is almost taken out, but still, like we mentioned it before, and you mentioned it specifically, that Fiery, even though he has no stagger, he's always in this position to capitalize on it. He doesn't play scared. He doesn't walk back to the middle. He doesn't go hide around waiting for these orbs. If he's staggered, he's still there. He's him. And now tying it up 2-2 in this set, it is exactly as even as it can be. And we'll see. I feel like these brawlers are going absolutely crazy. It's Dropletto trading with Fiery in terms of the super effective plays. And I don't know who is going to lead this next KO or make this power play happen.
Oh, what an excellent strike from Average Alex, and gets the kill from Fiery as well. Emlyn put full faith in his midfielder, and then his forward came in to clean up the job. Great secondary from Average Alex means there's no clear. And this could be set 3 going in the hands of PPL. Daniel's able to stall it out quite nicely. Dash versus Dash. Of course, Luna's going to lose that against the Super Surge X. Now, Fiery saw an opportunity, wasn't quite able to capitalize, but keeping the ball up quite nicely. Merchant. Oh my gosh, what a pillar. I honestly didn't even see that come out. Average Alex was locked in and ready to go. The offense doesn't ever stop. The rune comes up, teleports away.
Oh,
the Luna comes in,
goodness.
then the rune dies, so that's the way the offense stops Mystic. Dropletto staggered as well, but now it's once again open barriers. Dropletto with an ult hit stuns the Luna, and the core speed meant she couldn't flip after. What a heads-up play from Dropletto. Seriously, the only way that ball could have gotten in, or else Emlyn was flipping, killing the X, and saving PPL's set. So all of a sudden, Bozo up once again with a Drakkar staring down a heavy impact training if he so desires.
There's also that. What is your thoughts on denying Reptile Remedy here? Okay, I was thinking of that as well.
I think it's great.
It is, like, we know how strong Heavy Impact is. It did take a bit of a nerf on this last patch, but the strategy of the best damage is just making sure your enemy does not get any more survivability still seems to be extremely prevalent when it comes to deciding what Awakening to take here.
Especially if you're a melee midfielder like Drakkar or different kind of flavor, but let's say an Era or a Now, you always need to play on the ball, which means that's the easiest way you're going to take damage. So the fact that now Gret has that Reptile Remedy means really the damage profile of PPL is just completely mitigated when he gets his hands on the ball. But Fiery's the one with the hands on the ball right now. Little offense being generated right now. Emloom can just quite get back to it. Dropletto doesn't have enough power behind that strike to take the barrier. As creations galore come down on the side of PPL, but Emloom, Fiery, and Average Alex are going to hold, but Gret is not done yet. Forces the ball back through with the Drakkar signature strike shotgun. And Esoteric Art. Now Emloom's bit of a pinch here. Gret dribbling the ball up, trying to get his X set up. That's one thing Dropletto's great at. He's very patient. He isn't going to budge early, uses the spec training, going to get a kill on Rune while keeping the offense. No! Average TP's away, denies that kill, but Dropletto will not be sated with just a barrier. He wants blood, and he's going to get it. Emloom goes down. Gret splits the posts, and Dropletto puts it home. What a Bozo Bunch classic for that point, Mystic.
Yeah, and there was I'll just point out a little neat interaction there that I was talking about it earlier, about Rune having that defensive capability of being able to live thanks to the way the secondary works, and you can buffer a lot of these interactions, where Dropletto had the guaranteed KO on essentially any other character in the entire roster there besides Rune, because Rune can just press secondary and leave and ignore that hit stun, although you do kind of continue your knockback direction once you come out. So nerd moment done. Just wanted to point that out for those wondering why Average Alex lived.
Hey, W Rune, that's what we say. And WPPL, as they're able to hold this power play, bars, but I don't think Dropletto's going to be denied too much longer. Average Alex has the ball up, while Dropletto on the other side works on Emloom's stagger bar. He's trusting his midfielder and goalie to hold it down, which they successfully do. Now Gret has a chance to push the ball forward. Oh my goodness, I mean, creation moment plus Luna, like, who knows where that's going. Clearly Merchant does, as the goal is credited to him. And now PPL one goal away from being down 0-1 off of this honestly stifling forward pair with the Finny pairing from the side of Bozo Bunch, Mystic.
Yeah, and we were talking about Merchant very early on, and how or I would say we focused on Merchant a bit in that set one, and then kind of started glazing Emloom for being such a
Yeah.
beast on this Luna, which he's popping off with every interaction here. But I'm really impressed with how Merchant is playing. The fact that we aren't saying things like, it's like, oh, you know, like unfortunate goal or anything along those lines. Like Merchant is holding his own, has had some phenomenal clears here on the Finny, on this character that we haven't seen him on much at all, right? Not in his repertoire of eject button goalies. So I want to give him props where it's due. He's been doing so well, and now they're in a situation where they can finish this whole thing off. The Finny ultimate rebounds it right back into Gret's hands, and the Jakar finishes it through 3-0. What a strong performance by Bozo Bunch. Early on, it looked like it was a PPL sweep, and it just completely reversed around with Dropletto like manning the helm of this victory with the brawler mentality of just straight KOs, beautiful interactions. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about how well Bozo Bunch came around in the second half of this game.
I agree. I think once again, funny enough, it was last week we were saying this about PPL picking the Drakkar Night Market with Missile Prop. This week, the Drakkar Night Market with Missile Prop looked fantastic. It was just so much damage being put out, 36k, as well as just dominating the redirects. Drakkar can do one thing, baby, strike shotgun, and Brett was really doing it. And I know, obviously, I know that makes it sound like I'm taking away from the performance, but really Drakkar requires some good spacing and making sure that you have really solid fundamentals. The character is so linear that if you don't make the correct decisions, he adds nothing to the team. So I'd really like to shout out Merchant and Brett, especially once Brett picked up that adrenaline rush. They did a great job of making sure that Brett was able to get his adrenaline run procs and then transition that as Dropletto was working the other side of the field, pressuring Emloon, who was having, let's be honest, a standout game, which I'm saying every time I see this guy play. Regardless of this team's current record, this guy's looked like one of the best goalies in North America in my eyes. So it's just really a battle of fireworks. And I felt like if just one or two of those points went differently, that would have easily been a set 5 game. But X and Drakkar just output so much damage, combining for over 80,000, that it's really difficult to match up to that consistent pressure if you aren't finding the knockback KOs that Rune and Julie are known for. So we'll have to see what happens for game 2 for the adjustment. One thing I want to draw to your attention, Mystic, it's week 6. That was Juliet's second loss for the whole season. Stir on that for a little bit if you want to think about it.
But I've been hearing in the rumblings of general chat in Coscord that Juliet is not the strongest character.
Oh, she's so weak. She's so weak.
As it is known for the Omega Strikers community being the true knowledgeable.
We're always right.
Saints.
We've never gotten anything wrong here, guys. We've never gotten anything wrong.
But taking a look at, and one of the things I wanted to bring attention to for the game plan of PPL, you mentioned the knockback KOs that we see both Luna, all three of these characters of Luna, Rune, and Juliet be so strong to deal with, right? We tend to not see too much stagger awakenings, or not stagger awakenings, sorry, stagger KOs with this type of composition. And when you're under so much pressure that you have to use your abilities off cooldown for either defensive purposes or just to try to gain some sort of momentum in the play, you lose a lot of that KO potential, right? How many times did we actually see the Loon Runa combo come out? How many times did we see a Rune ultimate with a pillar that a Juliet was camping for a KO? I felt like we only really saw one or two Luna Rune combos, and it was on who had recovery drone at that point, which was such a huge. It's like the recovery drone against that specific combo is such a pain to deal with, that it felt like it really shut down what PPL wanted to do, and at the same time, because of the pressure that they were underneath, they just couldn't line up the ability. They couldn't really afford to save those cooldowns in a way that was like, hey, I got ultimate in 10 seconds. Can you hold on? It's like, no, I can't. I just have to use it here. And we saw the lack of KOs in that second half because of that.
That's not to say also that controlling the ball could be weak. I think that's just a byproduct as well, Mystic, of Night Market. It's so claustrophobic that I think that if PPL had this exact same match but they just snapped their fingers and were teleported to somewhere like Otten City, that game is completely different. Now, obviously,
I agree.
teams would have
Yeah.
drafted differently, but I just wanted to point out the importance of different characters and playstyle strength on different maps. So with such a varied map pool in NASA, we have a lot of really controversial, some beloved, some hated, and either way divided community stances on maps like Demon Deus, on maps like Inkies, on maps like Otten. But just like we say, even on the long-standing, originally one of the big three night market, we can see that certain styles, certain execution decisions really came through there, and it resulted in Bozo Bunch, a team that honestly, I mean, I'll speak from personal experience. Really hard to beat on night market, guys. NASL 5 playoffs lore. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar coming out. But what I am surprised to see actually is we're going to Oni Village. I don't
Yep.
think I've seen either of these teams play on Oni Village this season. Could be mistaken. Would be happy to be fact checked. Well, we've got a Super Surge and Fight or Flight start. Now, Juliet banned on one side, Arab banned on the other. These two strikers do seem like, I would argue, maybe the best characters in the game right now. Time is a flat circle. And I'm curious to see what kind of goalies get picked on this map, Mystic, because normally defensive goalies seem to be king. So I'm expecting a Mako to come out, but I'm curious what else is going to happen since Era's been banned.
There's the Mako.
Oh, there's the Mako. I might. Wow, guys. Start on Oni. Mako time. What do you think the other goal is going to be, Mystic?
Well, the thing is, the Mako not being picked up by Merchant, right, doesn't have the opportunity there. Instead, we have the Zentaro going over. So, taking a look at Merchant's pool, although you did mention that we don't see, or the defensive goalies tend to be more stronger here, just strictly based on Merchant's pool itself, we still might just see VYCE or
True.
Luna picked up, which
True.
normally wouldn't be the case for some of the other
There.
teams
Oh,
in that
beautiful.
same
We see it.
situation.
Okay, I
Uh,
have to nerd out. This is not known information, guys. Raise your hand in chat if you've been victimized in the VYCE Mako matchup by my VYCE. Weston, if you're listening, raise your hand. This matchup is so bad for Mako. Okay, let me just explain why. I know goalie counterpick is meme, but lock in with me, okay? So Mystic, do you know what the cooldown of Mako secondary is?
I do not know. Can you tell me,
It's
Vaughn?
21 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
So with eject button, VYCE secondary cooldown is 10 seconds. And so the thing about Mako is especially after the nerf, when she beats her drum, she's standing still, right? So you're like, oh, I'm gonna dash train, I'm gonna lock in Mako, I'm gonna beat my drum. But then the VYCE takes the dash training, all of a sudden her secondary reaches Mako for free, and you drop secondary every time when she beats her drum, and it cancels it 100 times out. It literally unmissable. And even also, let's say it's down. If she's charging her primary, what does Mako do? She stands still. She slows down. Secondary, boom, block the primary. It's so annoying as the Mako. And Merchant is historically one of the VYCE players of our league. So I'm really happy to see this pick locked in, even if it's on a map that isn't necessarily the VYCE map per se, because if it's played well, I think Emloom is going to have a miserable time on the Mako. I think the matchup is super, super unplayable for her. I'm really interested to see if it comes to fruition. If the VYCE is forced on defense enough, obviously those abilities won't be up for offense. But I have faith in the Bozo Bunch forwards that they can execute the vision here, Mystic.
And is this enabled by the secondary awakening, Vaughn? Like, does the
Yeah.
Mako
It,
secondary
it
not reach otherwise?
Yeah, the VYCE would have to really miss position otherwise. She has to walk
Okay,
way out of her net. So now the fact that she has that dash extension, she can go barrier to barrier. So she's gonna be able to teleport right there and cancel that dash or that Mako secondary every time, Mystic.
got it. So taking a look at what we have here, I assume it's going to be the two goalies taking the super surge, and then all four other players opting in for the fight or flight. Oh, sorry, Dropletto going in for the super surge as well on the Zentaro. But pretty standard stuff. We're seeing again the difference in awakening choices here, or I should say the training choices, with the slick kicks for both forwards of PPL, and Bozo Bunch opting in for double magnetized souls once again, and we're seeing the dash awakening already come into fruition for drop. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what got the KO there. I think it was the now primary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness, the drone just getting the KO already, leading into a power play. Let's see if we can break the secondary barrier here. We can see Merchant walking up, does not land that secondary, but with how low the cooldown is, you have the ability to get 2 off before Mako can get a second drum and bass off as well. And the pressure, this is a pretty fast-moving game, given that we are on Oni Village, a map that we tend to see things taken a little bit slower.
One thing I liked seeing there as well is, speaking of the speeds of the game, Dropletto saw that M-Loom was using the Mako secondary. Wow, great Giga Blast by Alex. And he immediately went to cancel it. Merchant now has the ball. Always a threat when he teleports in. You never know what he's going to do. Wow, actually almost a goal from strikes, but Average Alex and Fire are able to get it done. Rasmus Kai have a lot of pressure. Merchant TPing up with Dropletto. Oh, the Dropletto Zentaro. It's always such a treat. Instantly snipes that top clear from M-Loom. Something I've seen many times this season. And Dropletto just continues his case in my eyes for top 3 brawler this season, Mystic. He just, continually he's getting it done. And we're going to see him get it done here, actually. I think he's going to get both. Waits out the barrage. Ooh, nice idea with the strike. Doesn't exactly quite get it, but they keep up. I like this use of the core flip from Merchant, making sure that he keeps the offense going. Average Alex is staggered. Merchant and I pressuring together. Alex not actually taken out. Rare miss from Dropletto. Mystic, let's see how these two teams navigate this.
The Dropletto had the KO lined up there onto Average Alex, but M-Loom used a 1-second primary to just shift Dropletto the smallest amount, which let Average Alex live. Eventually getting taken out a little bit later. Dropletto going in for that secondary cancel once again. Very aware of the role. If Merchant isn't able to cancel it, Dropletto will dash right in. And because it's Super Surge here, there's a lot of damage that's stacked on whether Dropletto or Merchant lands one of these secondaries. It just chunks them for half health, and especially with with Zentaro being the character that he is and the amount of AoE that he covers, you do so much damage onto so many people. And there M-Loom is, the goalie being taken down in the goalie box. No pauldrons here for any defensive play. It is strike shot. And let's see if that's going to end up being a punishment for the amount of damage coming through on Bozo's side.
I'm really impressed with PPL's 2v3 defense with the VYCE ejecting in. They were able to hold. Really, really impressive stuff. Let's see if PPL can fight back on the other side. Merchant not able to find much. Almost gets the goal with Gret backing him up, but they can't split the defense. Now Fiery has a chance, flips him out, fakes him out with the Rasmus ult. Average Alex working that midfield line with the Kai. Looks for Giga Blast, but can't get it. And M-Loom misreads the Supernova from VYCE. The core speed just a little too fast. Sails on by the Mako primary. And Bozo's 1 point away from taking the first set on Oni Village.
Yeah, doing such a phenomenal job. And even though they've been having some pretty good defense on PPL's side, even with M-Loom down, the pressure of having full global presence, it feels like I'm playing League of Legends against Nocturne, Galio, Twisted Fate. At any moment, these characters can just jump on in, and they have a presence from standing anywhere on the map. This is kind of where that Magnetized Souls comes in clutch, right? You can stand on the midfield line, garner all that additional speed, and then just jump into any play that you deem like is valuable for you in that moment. And we're seeing I come back in, just using his own eject. But oh my goodness, it's not the demon angle, all the way bouncing around, just not able to get it. M-Loom stuck in that primary animation, isn't able to strike it, and doesn't let go of the primary fast enough. And I'd say 3, that's one of the fastest sets I've seen played on this map, Vaughn.
Yeah, unfortunately, just 2 back-to-back points of M-Loom misreading the clear off of primary. That's a rare, and I mean rare, misstep from him. I'm really surprised to see that stalwart defense crumble. And it's a shame for him as well, because that means he's going to lose out on the dash training, which is denied by his own Kai, curiously enough. I guess they wanted to deny the Monu from now, which I completely understand. She can take over the game with that. But the unfortunate downside, which I want to draw attention to now, is for anyone who's played Mako, you know if you get Monumentalist on her ult, it's almost so big that it defeats the point of her ult. I'm curious to see if it'll still have the same effect that it would otherwise, but I do respect that now needs Monumentalist denied. No matter how many times she's nerfed, no matter how many times Monumentalist is nerfed, it's now with Monumentalist. It's always going to be a problem, so I really like that they took it away from her, Mystic.
Yeah, and speaking on that Manu on the Mako, it's like one of the rare cases that you can pick an awakening that has a negative impact on your character, right? We tend to see a lot of awakenings that we would call dead awakenings, like Julia taking a creation awakening, for example, or something along those lines. But this is like the rare situation where an awakening can genuinely make your character function worse than it did before. So I want to see if it ends up playing off. Because of how much space there is, you just don't really threaten anything with a Mako ultimate, unless it maybe ends up into the enemy net if Emloom can get missile prop or some sort of range extension. But regardless, the offensive pressure coming out once again. Eye and Droplet. Oh my goodness, walks up, flips him out of the net. Does not matter. We have Death Metal Eye coming in, getting the KO, popping it off. But the defense between Average Alex and Fiery, once again, this is the second time we've seen this, Vaughn, is the PPL defense without their goalie has been immaculate.
I'm really impressed because holding on to power plays like that on Oni Village especially is not hard. The amount of correct reads you have to make are just so many, and that's another power play, and all it takes is one missed read, and it's just already over. Emloom comes back, but isn't able to really secure it. And this Bozo Bunch team, look, Oni is, I know, typically regarded as the quote-unquote core control map, but I'm seeing KO after KO come out, and it's looking very difficult for PPL to navigate that damage. Emloom loses barriers. Merchant doesn't get back, but Fiery isn't able to get both in return. A missed opportunity that Average Alex capitalizes on. Now it's anyone's game with all three players up and a classic Fiery read on the Rasmus clear, making sure he's able to even up the game. 1-1. You know, we're talking a lot about Bozo, but the offense especially, and I'm going to shout out Average Alex from this, looking like such a huge facilitator this game, holding it down in the power plays 2v3, getting the ball consistently to Fiery when it's on offense, and this slick kicks fighter flight combo is something that he needs to dominate the ball with, and he is doing quite nicely. Let's see if he can use that extra speed he's getting from those two combinations with the fact that he's Mako speed. Let's see if he and Fiery can make sure that just because the Bears are down doesn't mean that the point is over.
Yeah, and Average Alex almost reminding me of CECC Vaughn Kai on Oni Village, just walking around with the ball, full control over these situations. You have so much speed, and especially with that dash awakening, increasing your movement speed even more in those critical moments, ends up leading to such strong plays. But not a man down necessarily, but the pressure is going on. Fiery fully staggered in the middle of the map there. And you don't have to necessarily try to finish. Oh my goodness, the KO. Was that the Mako primary that KO'd them? Trying to come back. Oh my goodness, throws it out just long enough. But no, it's slowly sliding through, and Fiery able to get the strike off there. And PPL, not only are they clawing back, but they are doing just fine, it seems like, even with no barriers up.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe Emloom found that KO. That just swung the set so hard. I think if he didn't, Brett was in the perfect opportunity to score, as we've seen him do time and time again with a flip like that. Great play by Emloom to make sure that he's keeping his team alive. Now Fiery trades the damage back. That's twice now Gret's been KO'd. Let's see if Bozo Bunch is able to handle it, but drop Leto. Excellent strike placement to make sure he gets that, but Fiery fires right back, this time with the hook from Rasmus. It's a 3v2, and it's already in. Average Alex, once again, making sure that his team gets all the opportunities they can. And just like last game, we see sets traded as we're going into the halfway point of this game. Curious to see what kind of awakenings we might be able to pick up. My eyes looking at team player, and of course,
I'm also looking at that.
Mystic. Yeah.
The damage is really high, so I think Reptile Remedy is a pretty powerful pick here. But Rasmus opting in for size instead. We know how big and dangerous that pendulum swing can get. Being able to just strike primary from so far away, threaten that barrier, and threaten the goals. A team player does make its way over to Bozo Bunch, and that is a pretty warping. It's been nerfed, you know, it's not going at super crazy speeds, and there is a limit to how many times you can strike back and forth. But even then, team player is such a powerful pick, especially on these open maps like Oni Village or Aten City. So let's see if that can end up warping the game any further in the favor of Bozo Bunch. But with how strong this kickoff is coming from PPL, they already got both barriers out. Merchant unable to connect onto the top barrier, but does get the bottom one. Drop Leto trying to find something else here. Uses the ultimate ability, unable to find that. Oh my goodness, I thought I was a goner from that pendulum swing. And the pressure is coming on for PPL. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Merchant coming through, is able to get it. Wonderful ultimate supernova coming in. And not able to get that final shot there, gets pulled away by the Death Touch, tries to go back to his own eject button. Merchant comes in, tries to get the strike, but the strike shot blocks it. Doesn't matter because the clear is blocked by Drop Leto there. And from an explosive start from PPL, it still ends up leading to Bozo Bunch's point there.
I just feel like I'm watching top 10 high Q moments,
Yep.
minus tempo, never stop the offense. This side of Bozo Bunch, I do love, I think, like I said, Bread's one of the best players to ever play the game. But watching this just hyper-offensive Bozo Bunch with this eject Julian it's just always so fun. This side of PPL just has to find so many creative ways to keep on defending their barrier or open nets when there's not 2 but 3 forward pressures coming out. Now Merchant and Grit on defense makes it so Merchant is able to eject forward right away, while Drop Leto's getting pressured but will be healed up just fine with the down. Now Mloom stuck in a bit of a 2v1, isn't able to hold it quite down, and also staggered. Gret now bringing the ball up with his flip, isn't able to get it just shy of that. But Merchant now on the other side with Mloom. If he TP's in, Mloom might die with Drop, but elects to stay back, making sure he doesn't want to lose his barrier. Respectable choice. Gret bringing up the ball, Drop Leto misses the dash, so would have killed Mloom. Now Gret pushing the ball up, Mloom still so low, taken out by the Thunderstruck. And a nice shot by Gret from that team player extra speed. Makes it so it's a 2-0. And Drop Leto did a great job of keeping Mloom busy, and Merchant was able to finish off that kill with the Super Surge.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the Awakenings here, Mloom was not able to pick up anything defensive, right? The Reptile Remedy went over to Average Alex, the Recovery Drone onto Fiery, and we see immediately the shift in who the damage is being focused on. It is Mloom who's the target of all the damage now, and the amount of damage that Zentaro does, especially with the Super Search, when trying to go for both the ball, the barrier, and Mloom at the same exact time, means that Mloom is taking a lot of damage without having to waste any abilities from the Zentaro, right? Like, these are all happening simultaneously, which is how the damage is able to stack up. Oh my goodness, what a defense from Merchant, but isn't able to get the second one. Fiery looking a little bit low, but they're not going to focus him because of that Recovery Drone sends it around the world. Mloom catches it, is not going to get stuffed this time around, being caught in the primary, and the secondary Whiplash comes through. Average Alex bounces it off the top right over to Merchant, who, as that range goalie, doesn't have the tools to anti-stuff the Rasmus secondary, and gives them a point back. Maybe PPL can keep that momentum going from that previous set, and they can turn things around again.
I gotta work this in once to my cast. I've commented too much. That was a bit of an ABAB flip from Mr. Drop Leto. But you know what? Bozo's looking just fine, getting both the barriers down. Gret's got the ball in his hands. Always reliably, he's gonna get it forward to his brawler. Oh, the Mako! Nice ult to keep the offensive going. It's gonna be tough to clear. Classic Kai in the top corner as blue side with the Rasmus backup. All of a sudden, you know, this game just felt like it was Bozo's to control. But whenever this Mako gets space and this VYCE doesn't get to eject forward with impunity, really PPL with the extra size and speed they're gaining from Mako can really capitalize on the weaknesses of VYCE and make this just a back and forth game with a battle of concepts in this thing.
Yeah, and I'm liking that we are seeing these different strategies come through, right? The traditional speed midfielder with size brawler, and you have the Mako speed in the back to pair it up, versus super dash teleport all around the map, offensive pressure or defensive pressure, depending on which way you go. And it's just a difference of, like, it's exactly what we were saying before, right? It's the high Q moment, the battle of concept, the 5-man synchronized attack coming forward and paying its dividends. But Drop Leto almost getting taken out there, though. But I coming in with a little bit of healing does not matter because it does not bring Drop Leto over the stagger breakpoint there. And now we're going to have to do a 2v3 power play for PPL. But a great slow from Merchant keeps it alive. The Death Touch does not connect, means the power play is still not completely done. But Fiery doesn't even have to use the energy burst there, breaks the top barrier, gets it over, and we're trying to get into a spot where the energy burst is going to lead to a point. But can they last long enough? Fiery is looking quite low. I don't know if they're going to focus him down to try to force out that energy burst. But it can go. Oh no, but Merchant misses it. Get it. Oh my goodness, VOD. I don't know what is happening here. You take it over, please.
Oh, what's happening is it's overtime with team player. There's a lot of core speed. Drop Leto's gonna drop the ult. I don't even know what that TP was, but it worked. Look at the TP.
Why did he TP
was
there?
Like off the map. That was. I had no idea how that point was gonna end Mystic. Oh my gosh, team player overtime Oni Village moment. I mean, Merchant will calm and collect
there so early.
Yeah.
That was insane. I looked at the replay back on the Twitch channel, and the TP happened before Drop Leto struck. Like, he knew that Maloom was going to to get the ball and strike it back over to Rasmus before Malum did. Like that was the type of secondary that we just saw there. Oh my goodness. And now that, I mean, rewarded for a beautiful play there, going right back in. We got bulk up coming through. It's going to enhance that secondary damage so much more, and also just deny more stagger away from the enemy team. So we aren't going to see the Reptile Remedy bulk up combo being brought in. But Fiery does have 2 spark. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but having that 11% speed come through can make quite a bit of a difference, right? First pick spark of agility isn't that amazing, but when you get second pick and you're getting 11% for free, it's reminding me of peak performance or stagger swagger or something along those lines, where that speed could make a difference, especially when paired with a Mako secondary and your own secondary on Rasmus.
For sure. Now, Brett and Dropletto have equalized the barriers in this game, and it's on the side of PPL. If I'm average Alex or Fiery, I do not want this point to go into overtime. As we just saw, it's anyone's game. Oh, a slip up by Alex. I think he thought he could tank that now primary. Oh, wow. What a pass. What a pass from Merchant. That was beautiful. I don't even know what to really say, because it was just, I just put a smile on my face. I love great offense with that eject button. Merchant really is killing it on this Oni Village game, and I'm loving to watch it. Let's see if he can keep it up on defense. As this kickoff started, and again, it's on PPL. They want to finish these points before it gets to overtime. Dropletto has a great opportunity, but Fiery denies it with the ult. Now there's some speed coming out on the side of PPL from the Mako. Average Alex and Fiery looking to capitalize. Wonderful flip from Brett. Make sure that the last barrier stays strong. Another flip coming out from Emloom. Now average Alex able to pincer attack that barrier. Now Fiery has the strike secondary. And Merchant recognizes the danger, attempts to use the supernova, but it just doesn't come out quite fast enough. And once again, as is the want of these teams, there's no easy points, no easy goals. And they've tied it up for what feels like the millionth time, 1-1 in the set, Mystic.
Yeah, and I just want to make a point. Oh my goodness, what a great flip, getting it around the drum and bass, and then squeezing it in, getting the barrier down. Fiery looking low, is going to get the Firefly procced. Let's see if it ends up leading to a recovery drone. Wow. No, but Fiery, once again, showing what he did on the Juliet in game 1 on that night market. It does not matter if he's staggered, he just stays up and plays. He plays as if he has full stagger anyways. And oh my goodness, what a set of passes back and forth up top between Dropletto and Merchant, and getting it right between Emloom and Fiery. I mean, I cannot give Merchant enough props for how he is piloting this VYCE. We know that he is such a strong eject button player, but this is a map that we almost never see these eject button goalies prop, right? We see things, the defensive goalies, the Rasmus goalie, sometimes the Kai goalie, but the VYCE, the Luna goalie, like these things don't really make an appearance. And not only is he showing that he can play these characters so well, he can play on a map that it tends to be so dominated by these defensive goalies, and with success as well. But it's just back and forth, Vaughn. It is 2-2. It can go to a set 5, but Bozo Bunch can also just clean it up and close out the series 2-0.
Alex had a wonderful capitalization on some lapses in defensive judgment, and he just is able to 100% secure that goal. The classic, hey, nothing wrong with the strike primer from Kai with the speed from Mako behind it. But now, it's going to be up to Gret and Merchant to hold fire. He's been doing so well at breaking these barriers. Let's see if they're able to do it. But Gret, no slouch on defense, able to work together tangentially with Merchant to make sure that the ball isn't going to go in. Now, we're on the bottom half of the map, looking dangerous from the side of PPL, and it is going to be a barrier broken. Oh, Fiery's going to live. Gret pops the flip. Oh, it's anyone's guess where this ball's going to go. Abilities and core flips going left and right, but Dropletto still held his. Good patience from him. Now he has almost no opposition, no energy bursts on the side of PPL to stop his own. If they can just get the ball to Dropletto in the net, it might be curtains for PPL, but they don't want this game to die just yet. They're going to fight back. Now Dropletto coming back to help on the defense. Able to find a little bit of a breakaway. Now Emloom stunned out of the goal box with Merchant's secondary. Isn't able to find much, but Dropletto helping bring the ball up. He wants to make sure that his flip is only used when the goal is all but secured. Fiery staggered as well. Dropletto still has... Oh, and it's in! Merchant!
Doesn't even need the energy burst.
W Merchant!
Oh my goodness.
I'm surprised. I just surprised, Mystic. I mean, not the result, but how it ended. Like Merchant, just the name of the game, that Oni Village point, he just facilitated so much offense, and I was not expecting it. What a great play from him, Merchant. Seriously.
Yeah, Merchant does get the MVP here, and although I would say Merchant's the MVP, I feel like they all played so good in that match. Like nothing could have happened unless all three of them were on top of their game. The amount of times I've seen Dropletto get a barrier, get a KO, break the secondary on Mako, or just be in the right spot. The amount of times I've seen I jump in with that ultimate for both defensive and offensive purposes, being able to heal up their team when needed, and just facilitate on the now. It was, I mean, everyone like Merchant was the goat that game, but it wasn't a carry by Merchant by any means.
Yeah, I agree. I think the midfield battle this game was really impressive too. Red and Average Alex were really facilitating so many things. Average Alex holding down the goal in the 2v3 power plays. Rhett synchronizing so beautifully on offense and defense. Really a two-way player that can't be understated, especially in his first series back. It really looks like he's never left. Busting out the neutral car pick that I haven't seen from him before, and then the classic Red Now, which we all know and love. Really, really greased the wheels on this Bozo Bunch train car. So really, really, really pleasant series to watch. And also, just two teams slugging out on Oni Village. And with that, that's actually a really important win for Bozo because it puts them at 3-3, which is really where you want to. And like going into this season, and we've talking about how close it is. 3-3, 3 weeks left, week 7, 8, and 9. You're looking like you got some good odds of making playoffs. You're not guaranteed by any means, Bozo Bunch, but that's a great place to start. And if you're inside of PPL, like now it's do or die. So when you're walking
Yep.
away from that Mystic, like if you're PPL, what are you taking away from that series?
I mean, PPL played phenomenally. It was just one of those moments where I felt like they got overwhelmed by the enemy team, and in those tough situations where everyone is jumping in at the same time, they couldn't really deal with the hyper offense. But I would not be upset by your play by any means. I feel like everyone still played phenomenally. The amount of times that I saw Fiery just pop off with no stagger whatsoever, the amount of amazing saves, I would say more so in that game one on the Luna than the secondary or the second game on Oni Village. I think Maloom, because of all the things that you talked about going into that matchup, wasn't able to succeed as well on the Mako. And I don't know if that was uh, the gameplay itself or maybe not as effective on that specific character, but I'm just happy to see Mako not be super broken for once. So uh, I'm happy with that either way. But I will say PPL played phenomenally. I don't think by their record is indicative of where they stand, uh, and they can definitely lock in if they want to make playoffs.
I agree. With that, Mystic, it's been a pleasure. I know you'll be sticking around, but I got to go play some warm ups. So thanks
Yeah.
everyone for tuning into the first series of NASL Week 6 between Bozo and PPL. You do not want to go anywhere because this matchup coming up next is going to be a treat. So go grab some water, hydrate. Water's in the chat, and we'll see you again very soon.